now's a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it.
The following program is brought to you by friends and partners of End Time Headlines.
Good evening, everyone. This is End Time Headlines. It is Monday, October 10th, and we welcome you to tonight's broadcast. Again, this is End Time Headlines, and I'm your host, Ricky Scapero, the founder, the pastor, and the voice of End Time Headlines. Listen, if you're new to the broadcast, this is your first time joining us, let us know in the comment section below that you are new and where you guys are joining us from. I'm going to show you two stories that were trending on our main website, endtimeheadlines.org, endtimeheadlines.com, that is prophetic in nature, that I believe is precursors once again. And you guys that have followed us for any length of time, you know that we occasionally give these updates when these stories come out and they start circulating. We cover these things because we want to keep you up to date and we want to keep you informed of what's going on and how it relates to Bible prophecy. So these two stories I'm about to show you, I believe, are precursors or they're stepping stones leading us to the fulfillment of Revelation chapter 13, in which, just to give you a little synopsis of this, I'm not going to read all this for sake of time tonight, but again, this is in Revelation 13. We see where the Antichrist and the false prophet both are coming together in a collaboration to bring about a system which will involve buying, selling, and trading, that will require something to be put in the right hand or in the forehead, in which if you don't comply, you will simply not be able to buy, sell, or trade, or you make transactions. You will not be able to function in society. Again, who does this? The false prophet and the Antichrist. It's Revelation 13. It talks about he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right, or in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no one be able to buy, sell, or trade except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Again, that's in regards to Revelation 13. Then we have what's called the image of the beast. Again, the same two players, the Antichrist and the false prophet, will also introduce this image of the beast. Again, in Greek, it's ikonai, where we get the word icon. And according to the scripture, the false prophet will be granted power to give breath to this image, and that this image will both speak and cause as many as would not to worship this image. And if they don't, they will be killed. Again, Revelation 13. So let's get after it. What two stories are stepping stones leading to this? Well, one of these stories is a woman who is known as, quote, chip girl. And that's not because she consumes potato chips, or she's even though she is from Las Vegas, it's not because she's going to the casinos and the slot machines and the blackjack tables. It's because she's been coined chip girl because, according to a report and multiple sources, Burgundy Waller, again a Las Vegas native, got a tiny chip implanted inside her hand back in June of 2020, which made it so that she can unlock the doors and drawers throughout her home by simply touching them. Burgundy, also known as the Chip Girl online, again, she's went viral on TikTok and other social media outlets has created a stir on the internet because of this. Now, according to the report, Burgundy is also married to what they call a tech genius. The report goes on to say that Burgundy Waller is also married to a tech genius who is actually the one who is her husband who implanted the chip in her hand. Again, which serves as a key to their lavish mansion, and again, leaving many intrigued. Quote, becoming a viral TikTok sensation and gathering more than 3 million followers for sharing some of these things that the chip can do. The small device, which sits between her thumb and pointer finger, uses radio frequency identification to respond to different objects. Her husband has programmed it so that it can control practically everything in their enormous mansion, including doors and drawers and closets and pantries. Burgundy even documented every step of her chip journey online, and she even captured the moment that it was first implanted in her hand 2 years ago. The report says that the chip was inserted through a small incision by a medical professional, and she admitted that it did hurt, but said the pain only lasted for about 5 seconds. Quote, my techie husband convinced me to get a chip in my hand. She began in the clip while showing her and her husband sitting together before the procedure. Quote, I'm getting chipped today with a key to our house. I am so freaking nervous, she said. Quote, it then showed her trying out the new device on her front door, which opened as soon as she touched her hand to the security system in one video. Waller contends that getting chipped means, quote, never having to carry or worry about losing her key.
Girl here. I think by this point, everybody knows that my hand is a key. So let me hit you with some story time. Anyways, we bought the house that we're living in right now a few years ago. And to get into this house, you either need a key card or an RFID chip, because they have those little readers all around the house. So Chip Guy decided to do a little research, found the RFID chips online, dangerousthings.com, did some more research to figure out who would put this thing in, found one person in our state, went to that piercing specialist, he got the chip implanted into his hand, and I was like, I will never do that. Terrified. And then he comes home and is like, look, my hand's a key. And so of course I was like, okay, I gotta do it. So I go back, get the chip implanted. Like a year later, I post the video on TikTok, and now I will forever be known as Chip Girl. Chip Girl, here, my hand's a key.
This is what is pulling people into doing this. This is what is luring people and convincing people to get chipped, to get implants in their hands. Why? For the convenience. Not remember the story we did, what was it, a few weeks ago or maybe a month ago, where the guy had his hand implanted on his new Tesla. It was so he could be able to he wouldn't have to worry about losing his keys to his new Tesla. So he got his hand chipped, and then that would be the convenience of this. And this seems to be picking up speed. It's picking up pace, and more are jumping on board with this new technology and with these endeavors. She went on to say, not only did she get chipped, but her husband has an even more advanced chip implanted in his hand. His chip can, now listen to this, guys, store information, including his social media accounts and websites. She also explained how another version of the chip could even store their credit card information, which is something that she, quote, wants. Now, guys, how many segments do we have to do on this? There are still people that are convinced that this has nothing to do with the end times, that this has nothing to do with the mark of the beast. But I'm telling you, again, we know according to Revelation 13, something has got to be implanted in the original translation of the Bible. In the oldest manuscripts, does not say on. Now, I know look, I'm a fan of the New King James, but it is not a correct interpretation on that. It says on, whereas all the other older interpretations, including your 1611 King James, says in. And let me go back to the scripture again. Revelation 13. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, I know we're not seeing the in the forehead so much right now, but we are seeing the preconditioning of, watch this, something being inserted in the hand. Now, as far as in the forehead, time will tell what that means. Is it going to be a chip? Is it going to be virtual reality? Is it going to be the metaverse? I don't know. And now we'll talk about Elon Musk in just a second when I get to the image of the beast. But right now, again, notice I want to emphasize something here. In the more advanced chips that are being inserted into the hand, it, quote, stores information, including social media accounts, websites, even credit card information. Hello. So that what? You can buy, you can sell, and you can trade. No need in currency transactions. You don't need cash, you don't need coins, you don't need credit cards. You simply just scan your right hand. Come on, Amazon. Remember this? Amazon has that technology now. You can make your purchase by just scanning your hand. You can go to Disney and you can scan your hand and they can see your identification. They can see that you purchased your pass to get in. So this is, again, the conditioning of this is here, folks. Now you can bury your head in your sand and you can ignore this and you can be naive or just completely convinced based on your tradition, what you've been taught, what you've convinced yourself, what your preachers told you, what your denominations told you, your religions told you, whatever the case would be. Because listen, when you start talking about the mark of the beast, you've got a whole vast plethora of opinions. Everything from people saying it's a certain day of worship. They're saying it's an allegiance to a certain emperor or the Catholic Church, or it's your thought process. It's virtual reality. It's a chip implant. It's this, it's that. So what I'm trying to tell you today is we as preachers and pastors and evangelists and watchmen and people who study eschatology, end time scholars, I don't care how many degrees they've got, how long they've done this, we see through a glass darkly. We see in part and we know in part. Nobody can dogmatically say what it is. But what we can say is we know that, again, that there's something coming that will be put in the right hand, in the forehead. And when we see stories like this and headlines like this, we cannot ignore the similarities, the striking, eerie, chilling similarities. A company in the United Kingdom has developed a new chip that allows you to pay on the same reader as a credit card. Are you hearing me? When a person with an implanted chip wants to pay for a product or service using a credit card reader, they simply place their hand with the chip next to the card reader and the payment is made. Again, let's introduce you slowly to a new system. I don't remember. Listen, everybody was like that when the Android phones and the iOS phones, that's Apple phones, came out with the biometric fingerprint scanner. I remember everybody lost their minds over this. People freaked out. People were hesitant on this. They didn't like the new technology. They liked the old technology. And then And so they slowly eased into it. It was integrated into society. It became normal. And then what did they do after that? Then they began to do the facial recognition. Oh, that's too far. You know, the fingerprint scan was as far as I'm going to go. I'm not going to go any further than that. That's where I draw the line. And then what happened is they saw their family members doing it. They saw other individuals doing it. They saw the ease of it. They saw the convenience of it. And then they got on board with it. And now they wonder how they could ever do without it. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the introduction of a new system into society to slowly condition us for what's coming ahead. It's like the boiling frog syndrome. You just don't throw the frog into boiling hot scalding water or he's going to jump right out. You ease him in. You let him in when the water is just right, and while he's in there and while he's comfortable, you just slowly begin to turn up the heat, and you get it, and it gets hotter and it gets hotter, and eventually he doesn't even know he's getting cooked. He doesn't know that he is what's on. If you're in the deep South, he doesn't know that he's on the dinner table coming up in a few hours. When a person with an implanted chip wants to pay for a product or service using a credit card reader, again, they will simply place their hand with the chip next to the credit card reader and the payment is made. While some companies have implemented similar chip implants for internal company functions, the British-Polish firm called Waltmore says that last year, it became the first company to offer them for sale to the general population, according to the BBC. Even though a little more than 4,000 people across the UK and the European Union told a survey last year they would consider having a chip implanted into their hand, they also brought up privacy and security issues. Again, don't think that they will not they'll come up with a plan. They'll come up with a solution to ease your conscience and to be able and enable you to lower your guard and to come on, guys, look what Facebook did. Look what Google's doing. Look what Facebook's doing. Look what TikTok's doing. Look, all of our information is out there, every bit of it. You guys that are watching this, they know what you're doing. They know what you're saying. They know where you go. They know your restaurants that you go to, your gas stations you go. They know where you shop. They know everything about you because it's being tracked and monitored at all times through your phone, through your computers, through your smartwatch, through your smart television, through your vehicle. Unless you have a vehicle that is pretty old, they know every move you're making. Quote, there is a dark side to the technology that has a potential for abuse. According to a professor of policy, governance, and ethics at Reading University's Henley Business School, he told BBC, quote, to those with no love of individual freedom, it opens up seductive new vistas for control, manipulation, and oppression. Wow. Again, right out there in the open. And again, the conditioning is there. I just preached yesterday morning at my local church here in Georgia, and I told the young people that were there, I said, listen, all the technology is here for what we read about in Revelation 13. That gets me to the next. Let me talk about this next story, and then we're going to close this podcast today, and I'll elaborate more on that. Elon Musk has finally unveiled his prototype of his humanoid robot called Optimus. Recently, Musk showed off a new humanoid robot at his Tesla Incorporated artificial intelligence event, part of the chief executive's effort to shape public perception of the company as more than an electric vehicle maker. And by the way, those electric vehicles are really a pain in the butt in Florida right now because after this hurricane and they all got submerged in water, there was reports of them burning up, blowing up, catching on fire. But hey, let's all go electric, right? Anyway, Mr. Musk first laid out the vision of the robot called Optimus a little more than a year ago at Tesla's first ever AI Day. At the time, a dancer in a costume appeared on stage. This time, Mr. Musk presented a prototype at the gathering that unfolded late Friday in California. The early prototype, which still had wires showing, took a few steps, waved to the crowd, and performed some basic dance moves. Mr. Musk equipped the robot could do a lot more, but limited its activity for fear it could fall on its face. We wouldn't want that because then that would give a bad perception to Mr. Musk, right? The robot's appearance on stage marked the first time it operated with a tether, according to Elon Musk. Quote, our goal is to make a useful humanoid robot as quickly as possible, with the aspiration of being able to make them at high volume at low cost. It is expected to cost much less than a car, with a price point below $20,000. I mean, who doesn't have $20,000 just sitting around waiting to buy an Optimus robot? I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, even right here in my drawer, I've been saving up for this bad boy. Customers should be able to receive the robot once ordered in 3 to 5 years. What? Yes. So if you want one today, you could have your very own Optimus showing up your door in 2023. No, 2024. No, 2027. Mr. Musk went on to say, quote, it isn't yet for sale. He later showed off a non-function, sleeker model that he said was closer to the, quote, production version. Now, Chi, I wonder, and then let me talk about this. Let me pause for a second, talk about this. Did you know that there was a time when technology advanced? Every 30 years, there was an advancement of technology. All tech gurus knew this, computer programmers know this, everybody understands this. But now, fast forward 2022, now we're living in a time where it's not every 30 years, folks. We're talking about every less than 30 days. Technology is making such leaps and bounds in advancement that some of the things that we know and understand now are going to be outdated by this time in 6 months from now. Unless, of course, you're Apple. And then now look, I have Apple products. And the reason why I have Apple products is because I like how they sync with one another. It's the convenience of it, kind of the irony of this entire segment, right? But it is comical and it's entertaining, I think, that every single year they release a new phone that basically has the same features and they always tell you the same thing. It's faster. Come on, somebody. It's faster and it's got a better camera. Like, how much better can we get? I mean, we had standard definition, high definition, 4K. Now they have 8K. I mean, the human eye, folks, can only perceive so much and detect so much. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about technology is just leaps and bounds advancing. By the way, that's prophecy. That's the book of Daniel. Daniel was shown by the Lord that in the last days, knowledge shall increase. Many shall run to and fro. We talked about that recently. People are running every direction. It's amazing that knowledge is increasing. And people are becoming ever learning, but never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. They're running here, they're running there. They don't know where to go. They don't know where to begin. They don't know where to end. They don't even know what gender they are. But hey, knowledge is increasing. And I don't know. I'm just saying this creeps me out. I don't like it. It reminds me of the movie with Will Smith, I, Robot, and it didn't go well. The the concept, the idea of having a robot in your home because how lazy are we getting? There was a time when we got up and we turned to television, and then that was just too much work. So then we got a remote control, and then that was too much work, and now we got voice control. I mean, what's next? The next stage would be we don't even have to open our mouth and say something. We just think, oh, can you turn to the Weather Channel in our thoughts, and it turns to television. I mean, are we really this pathetic as a society that we have to have a robot to do these tasks, to clean my house, to do this? Please don't answer that. Anyway, I just don't see it turning out well. And by the way, where there's an Optimus, I have to believe there's going to be a Megatron. I'm just saying, if there's an Optimus, there's a Megatron, and that's probably going to be the evil side to this. There is still a lot of work to be done to refine Optimus, saying that the concept could evolve over time. Yeah, let's talk about evolving over time. Let me go back to what I was saying. If technology is advancing and evolving on such a fast rate, what kind of artificial intelligence is going to be here in 3 to 5 years? We already have Sophia, the robot that talks and become an actual citizen. We had a robot that was created in Japan that was put in Buddhist temples and became a priest. We had one individual that wants to create an AI god. Remember that? We have holograms that look like the real individual that can speak. Again, now what is this preacher talking about? I'm telling you, when I go over here and I read Revelation 13, I am seeing, y'all see this? I'm seeing the conditioning for this. I'm seeing the advancement of the technology that is preparing society to embrace and to accept what's coming. The false prophet will be granted power to give breath. Now that word breath there, to give breath, this is the same concept as we read in the book of Genesis when God created Adam out of the dust of the earth and he breathed the breath of life into him. The image will speak and cause people to worship it. And if they refuse to do it, they will be killed. And I am convinced that, and let me pull this up. Let me go back up here. Watch this. In Revelation 13:14, listen what it says here, quote, "And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast." Now listen to this, clean out your ears. Telling those who dwell on the earth, that's us. That's civilization. Watch this. To make an image to the beast. So who makes the image? People. The society, the civilization. I believe that people like this guy. Now, if this is going to be fulfilled in our lifetime, I could literally see an Elon Musk. I'm not saying he will, but that's why I said a Elon Musk, meaning an individual like him who has this know-how, has the funds to do it, has the resources to do it, has the innovation, the drive to do it. The dude wants to create a humanoid artificial intelligence robot for us to be incorporated into society. And it's here's the crazy part. The same guy also warned us that artificial intelligence could one day be our demise as humanity or be the destruction of humanity. What? So I could see the false prophet, whoever he is, seeking out a firm, a company, a tech guru or gurus saying, listen, you have the resources, you have the power, you have the influence to create the image, the icon that I need to sway the masses. Now, I'm just throwing this out there. It's interesting that it looks like now that Elon Musk could indeed end up purchasing Twitter. So I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, guys. I don't want you leaving this broadcast today saying, well, I heard Brother Ricky say that Elon Musk will be the one who will create the image of the beast. What I'm saying is, I could see how this dude could fit the criteria. He has the influence, he has the popularity, he has the wealth, he has the resources, and he has the innovation. I'm just saying, it's interesting to me. He went on to say that I'm a big believer in AI safety, who previously expressed his concerns about how such technology could be used. But yet he's suppressing those concerns, suppressing those, he's suppressing those fears and going forward. Elon Musk painted a vision of Optimus as helping Tesla make cars more efficiently, starting with simple tasks and then expanded uses. He also suggested the robot could serve broader functions and potentially alleviate labor shortages. Again, they will replace workers, then they'll be put in your homes and do tasks. Quote, it will, I think, turn the whole notion of what's an economy on its head. At that point, at which you have no shortage of labor. Well, that sounds wonderful, don't it? I mean, after all, you don't have to give them a break. They don't have to call in sick. There's no vacation times. They can work as long. They can work doubles. They can work triples. They can just keep working 24/7. Quote, it really is a fundamental transformation of civilization as we know it. When he first unveiled the Optimus concept, Musk said such a robot could have such an impact on the labor market, it could make it necessary to provide a universal basic income. Oh, what about that? Let me say that again. Such a robot could have such an impact on the labor market, it could make it necessary to provide a universal, here we go, universal global world basic income where there is no strings attached. Wow. One of the biggest questions around Tesla's humanoid robot is its central purpose. The professor said if Tesla's main goal is to improve manufacturing, a quadruped likely would have been easier to build than a humanoid robot, in part because additional legs make it easier to balance doing what he's doing. So again, interesting. So all this, now what am I talking about? Let's close this thing here today. Let's recap two stories. A story in which a woman has become very popular on Twitter by putting an implant in her hand for the ease and convenience of unlocking doors, locking doors, opening cabinets, and her husband, who has a more advanced chip with technology capable of storing information such as Social Security, credit cards, literally can be used for buying, selling, and trading. Then we have Mr. Elon Musk, who is advancing his artificial intelligence robot humanoid Optimus that he says will be great for the economy, will replace workers in the future, and eventually be incorporated into our homes to do tasks that we don't want to do, and of ease of convenience. All this being said, we can see where the technology is here, folks. The technology is readily available to bring about the fulfillment, in my opinion, absolutely here to bring about the fulfillment of what we read about in Revelation chapter 13 regarding the Antichrist and the false prophet, who will work together, collaborate together, who will erect an image of the beast and a system called the mark of the beast, where it will absolutely control civilization as we know it. They will be able to track you, they'll be able to monitor you, and they will know for a certainty whether or not you have pledged your commitment to them and you have agreed to this system, in which this will be the only system. There, according to Revelation 13, it appears there will not be a paper currency. This currency will be somehow placed into this system of buying, selling, trading through something implanted in the right hand, not the left, the right hand and the forehead. So Bible prophecy is once again leaping off the pages of the newspapers, off the news headlines, and it's showing us the times and seasons in which we're in. Listen, endtimeheadlines.org, endtimeheadlines.com. That's where you keep up with this. That's where you can follow us. If you've not downloaded our free app, please do that today. It's absolutely free. It's available on Apple and Android for your convenience. When you download the app, make sure you hit push yes to push notifications so you can be notified of every headline and you'd be notified of every podcast when it is readily available. Listen, if this ministry is a blessing to you, it's a source of encouragement, information, revelation, and equipping on a week-to-week basis, we want to give you the opportunity to sow into this ministry. And you could do that by making a one-time gift or becoming a partner to our ministry by going to the app. You can do that electronically down there at the bottom where it says donate. Just click there and you can give according to the purpose of your heart. You can also give by check or money order, and you can do that by making it out to End Time Headlines, P.O. Box 1391, and that's Monroe, Georgia 30655. Guys, we're going to sign off for today. Tomorrow, we're going to be back on here and we're going to talk about the Russia developments, and I'm going to show you some interesting things that has been seen through dreams and visions by other individuals in the body of Christ. And I guess the question would be, could we eventually see the fulfillment of these things? So we're going to get after that tomorrow on Tuesday's broadcast. So until then, may the Lord bless you, keep you, and may his countenance be upon you. We'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to the End Time Headlines podcast. We pray that you've been blessed and equipped by today's message. For more information about how you can help partner with our ministry, please visit endtimeheadlines.org.